Disclosure Day, Spielberg's latest original. We deserve to know why this movie isn't very good. No, really. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm not a huge fan of this movie at all. For all that's worth, Steven Spielberg attempts to show us all that he's still got it in him since the 70s, but even what was done here is some of the most pathetic I've seen. It's definitely not a bad movie, and I've still seen way worse, but even directed from Spielberg, this might be hard to say, but this might be amongst his worst directed movies to this date. He tries to be original, yet so uncreative as well. Like, seriously, Spielberg? Seriously? Another movie based on aliens? This is now the third time that Spielberg has directed a movie with aliens in it. And it's lame as hell. It's just about the humans learning that aliens do exist. Wow, very thrilling. All I know for sure is that Spielberg has definitely seen better days. And sure, maybe a few aliens too. So, what makes the Spielberg movie so underwhelming? How does it make more head scratches than questions? And why does it feel so uninspired compared to other alien sci-fi trips? In today's movie review, I'll be talking about the sci-fi alien fantasy Disclosure Day. The real question is, what do we truly deserve to know in this review? Let's find out! First off, I'll list some positives to begin with. The supporting cast is genuinely great. I might be one of the few people who prefer the secondary cast over the main one in this movie. I really enjoyed Colin Firth's performance, that was a shout out. I also really liked Colman Domingo, who added some very wise layers in helping the main cast to move forward the plot, and also Wyatt Russell as Jackson, who even if his screen time isn't that much, I still like his presence because he adds a sense of relief in the film's otherwise lackluster cast. Spielberg used to be really good at choosing great people to be cast in films, but with Hollywood's control, it seems not even the master of direction can catch a break with bloated stars that appear in almost every modern movie these days. I think something else worth mentioning is the film's ambitious themes. It tackles themes like faith, religion, and human conspiracies in the face of exterior confirmation. There's this very strange dynamic that showcases the main concept of aliens being in this movie with the film's main antagonist, which adds great layers to the mysteries of finding out about life beyond humans and other planets. Once new life is formed, or found, we truly do deserve to know on whether or not aliens do indeed exist. The film showcases lots of old footage that also uses realistic videos of humans trying to find out about alien life, in addition to learning their strange dialogue, and all is resolved at the end of the film. Alongside the clever sci-fi themes, it does well at mashing up plenty of genres together. Though it tries to copy and paste the same formula of alien movies that Spielberg famously used in the 70s to 80s, this one stands out with heavy 70s style political conspiracy theories, and there are even a few sequences that are very well shot, like the scene in the cornfields. The film also mixes action sequences that are mixed very well with the alien life, but it plays more as a thriller than an action spectacle. So although the film technology is impressive for Spielberg standards, it doesn't go too overboard with its scenery, which is one reason why this movie feels underwhelming in comparison to other sci-fi movies. As I mentioned earlier, the cinematography and filming technology are mostly gorgeous for Spielberg standards. What it truly misses is a sense of magic that made Spielberg's original movies back in the day feel very heavy and also a spectacle to see them in such a sense of wonder. Still, there are still some impressive sequences in the film, like that entire scene set in the TV sequence, and also the entire car/bus sequence that is both thrilling and also mysterious. It does show that Spielberg has some of the old magic still within him, even if it's some of his last. John Williams' music score also helps elevate the sequences, and is overall pretty good, but even as one of my favourite film composers, he has also seen better days, and had to come out of retirement to compose the score, showcasing the massive change in difference. Lastly, The film's sound design is genuinely impressive and definitely fits the mood of mysterious with a unique life. It's definitely used very well, as you can clearly see in the scene with Margaret during the weather sequence. Alongside the sound design is the music score, as I said earlier. It helps mix the unique genres together, and it sounds really great for a lower budget, really appreciating the effective technology on a lower budget, which is what most films like to embrace today. And that's all that's worth mentioning about the film's good points. Disclosure Day is a fine movie overall, but there are loads of bad aspects that hold it back from truly being a Spielberg original. Which now brings us to our first bad quality, this being the lackluster cast. Not gonna lie, I was highly disappointed here. Emily Blunt just isn't as great as I had hoped for. If the film was received more favourably, I could say right now that she could have received an Oscar nomination for Best Actress, but she sounds way too frightful and soulless for such a big character. Also, Josh O'Connor, someone else that's being used in almost all movies these days, is as mediocre as I pictured him, and shares the same problems, being soulless, having little charm, and overall feeling bored on screen. Lastly, Eve Hewson doesn't have much to offer other than her alien approach to help solve the thriller elements of the film. Also, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm really getting so tired of seeing origin stories in recent movies these days, this being one of them. It's just so annoying and padding out the entire movie with sequences that we literally don't care about. Something else entirely forgotten about is the mediocre CGI effects. Some of the sci-fi set pieces are honestly great, but let's be real, some of the CGI effects that portray weather conditions look really bland by modern day standards. They could have mixed some live action CGI animation with some really good animatronics like in the old days, but no, let's just make some uncanny effects just because of our lower budget. The alien at the end of the film is the biggest offender. You can clearly tell that the filmmakers ran out of time and added it in as a final moment before completion, as it looks unfinished. The CGI is great, but it fails to match the CGI that's shown in the film, which is a shame because with a higher budget, this movie might have looked amazing. Another bad aspect is the bloated runtime and pacing. The runtime is unnecessarily long at 2 hours and 30 minutes. It doesn't need to be this long, especially if people are just coming here to see the alien life. And the acts aren't any better. Some moments feel like they last for way too long, with tons of padding from the repetitive characters and the lackluster thriller elements. Some of the supporting cast, while great, really felt like background characters that need to be there to keep up with the plot devices and help move the themes along. They could have at least given some interesting in-depth details of more of the secondary cast and their purpose, rather than just being background filler. And my final negative point on this movie is the very uneven script. With the entire story being just a copy and paste of Spielberg's other Alien movies, this situation just makes it even worse. It felt more like a throwback to the conspiracy films than paying tribute to them. For even modern day standards, it feels very predictable and all around the same. You can easily predict the entire story. Some weather problems, strange alien connection, there's more life around in different places, and alien discovery at the end, all extremely predictable without any magical charm in it at all. It might have tried being an adult turn to your average Spielberg flick, but none of that is present here. Disclosure Day is, sadly, among Spielberg's worst films, and that's saying something. The film doesn't have it very good for modern day standards. It has a great supporting cast, ambitious themes, thought-provoking subject matter, strong set pieces, a solid music score, and decent direction. But the main cast was really lackluster alongside the phoned-in dialogue. The narrative shifts were jumbled, the pacing and runtime was bloated, and the visual style just wasn't polished at all. It's also in the face of competition of one of the most goated film genres, sci-fi. Against all odds, the only real entertainment this movie gets out is if you're really interested in life outside our own, and even that idea has been done so many times in the past. Poor Spielberg. We all had such high hopes for you and this movie, but it seems that Hollywood, as well as its overused stars in recent films, saw things quite differently. Disclosure Day is an alright movie, but definitely not one that I will be revisiting. I'll just revisit some of Spielberg's all-time classics instead as a relief. Spielberg has definitely seen better days. And sure, a few aliens too. Steven Spielberg reminds us that there's more than meets the eye in Disclosure Day, but otherwise doesn't quite answer the subject of why audiences shouldn't just spend time hanging around with other classic sci-fi adventures instead. My final score for the sci-fi thriller is a 6 out of 10 and a grade C+. It's among Spielberg's worst movies, something that many may agree on, and so hopefully I'm not the only one who thinks of this. I won't lie when I say that Spielberg definitely did try his best in a very crowded territory of sequels, remakes and other live action adaptations. I was hoping that this would be a much needed relief from all this Hollywood slop, but instead the complete opposite happened, and now this movie will most likely be forgotten about in many years from now on. That's definitely something that we didn't deserve to know. But with that being said, leave a like on this video if you guys did enjoy my review on Disclosure Day, and also remember to subscribe if you're new and hit that bell icon to see more content on my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Take care of yourselves.